1988 when they got to. And so
My arm.
his name for the.
You can comment on it after the puts up if you so choose.
His name was Greg Mannix. Oh, Greg Mannix. Yeah. And so I was a fan of basketball.
Oh my God.
And I was in, was it? Yeah. Stuff.
Donna, are we?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But when I was I went to a conference in Orlando, Florida in 2016, and I was in a bar in Disney World.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It's a busy day at City Hall right now. There are multiple groups that are meeting, and if you were here earlier, people thought I was playing the guitar coming in. So we have a lot going on the campus here. So it's exciting to be here, and hopefully we will get in and out of here in an expeditious manner. So our meeting is the August 4th meeting. We're starting at 7 p.m. And we are going to start with community discussion. But before we go into that piece, we did have one item of business that was presented to staff to add to the agenda. It's in front of the council right now. If we add any items on the agenda to the council agenda, it has to be a unanimous vote of the council that is here, or majority vote of the council members that are present at this meeting. And as of right now, Councillor Schulberg is not in attendance. He may jump on virtually this evening, but he had a prior commitment that came up. So this is the group that we have here. What's before the council tonight is to consider approving to file for an operational levy for the November elections for the Pendleton Fire Department. We would hear a staff report and review additional information from them, and it would be added to the agenda if approved by the council at the end of new business. So it would become item C. Am I missing anything? No? Okay.
Are you looking for a motion to add this to the agenda?
Yes.
So moved. Do you want me to state it out?
Sure.
I move that we,
To put it on the agenda.
yes, ma'am. I move that we add the operational levy discussion for the fire department to tonight's agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Holst, seconded by Councillor Thomas. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's approved unanimously with the council that's there. So we will now move on to community discussion. This is the time designated for any person to ask questions or make statements before the city council on any matter regarding city business that is not on our agenda this evening. We will have a 3-minute time limit, and I would just ask that if you are interested that you raise your hand, and I will call on you in person or online, and we will start the clock after you've introduced yourself. Okay. Mr. Hamby, if you could please come up and say your first and last name for the record.
My name is Tracy Hamby. I live on 44th Street here in Pendleton. Good evening. Tonight, I'd like to talk about a planning commission decision that was made on July 9th that will be before your council shortly, I'm sure. At that meeting, SUB 2601 was approved by the planning commission. That is a proposal for a subdivision at the end of Southwest Kirk Extension. The proposed subdivision is on land that lacks connectivity. Access is only gained through Southwest Kirk Extension and Southwest 37th Street. This creates significant concerns. The proposed subdivision does not appear to meet the current Oregon Fire Code, which requires 2 points of access. The Southwest Kirk Extension Bridge is reportedly rated below the weight of fire department's apparatus that exceed 23 tons. Limited emergency access could negatively affect the fire protection of current and future residents and surrounding property owners. These issues raise questions regarding public safety and insurability of homes within the development. Overbuilding neighborhoods create scary situations like what happened just last weekend in Spokane, or fires like the Paradise Fire in California in 2018. According to the staff report presented at this planning commission meeting, approximately 260 acres of median density residence R2 land already exists in the city of Pendleton. The report excludes lands affected by floodplains, wetlands, and steep slopes, however, does not define what a steep slope is. The report appears to imply steep slopes between 10 and 20%, yet several lots within that subdivision appear to exceed 10% slope. We move on to more transportation infrastructure. Within the Planning Commission staff report, Figure 6, Pendleton Transportation System Plan shows a planned roadway connecting Southwest Haley Avenue to 44th Street. Yet that was not even discussed during this as a secondary access point. Please consider completing that road before approving a subdivision because it would provide improved access for this and future developments. Again, which during the Planning Commission was stated that the subdivision is expected to be only the first of many phases of additional subdivisions in that area. Floodplain impact. One proposed road or point of access was proposing running a road connecting 44th Street through Community Park to the new subdivision that's already there. Construction of that road would be within a stated floodplain. I would ask the city strongly.
You could finish your sentence.
Okay. Strongly encourage the city to do flood storage surveys, drainage patterns, and what this road would increase in the risk of potential flooding of existing properties by creating a road in a floodplain. Finally, within the training material of the Planning Commission, it specifically states, I quote, "Just because it's legal doesn't make it right." Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, yes, Chris. You could please state your first and last name for the record, and I will start the timer.
I'm Chris Mulvihill. I live at 4198 Southwest Kirk Extension. I'm speaking to share my concern as well over the proposed subdivision at the end of Southwest Kirk Extension. This development would add up to 136 new dwellings to a quiet country neighborhood of 25 current residents. We get to this little neighborhood over what locals call Struve Bridge. It's a 10-foot wide, one-lane bridge that the neighbors politely take turns crossing one at a time. Because the paved portion is so narrow and cars park on both sides, cars have to pause a block or two away from the bridge to do the, "Are you going to go first? Or am I going to go first?" dance. Kirk used to be a gravel road until 10 years ago. The neighbors pooled our money and paid for a dust abatement paving project. This road, Southwest Kirk Extension, is the proposed primary collector road for the new subdivision. Development in this area has been denied approval for decades, and the challenges associated with Kirk Street are a major reason why. The ever-increasing flood risks, inadequate infrastructure, and public safety concerns have not been addressed, nor is there a funded plan to resolve them. The 2025 Mackay Creek Basin Study, commissioned by the city, the county, and the Lower Mackay Creek Water District, $100,000 study by ESA, Environmental Studies Associates, suggests avoid increased flood risk along Lower Mackay Creek by buying up land whenever possible. And I'm quoting, I'm abridging it. Redefine or refine zoning codes to improve resilience to flood hazards. Land areas along Lower Mackay Creek are zoned R1 low density residential within the city. This proposed subdivision does not reduce density, as was suggested, to mitigate flood risk a variance was actually approved to increase density. I'm not against the approval of needed housing in Pendleton. I've heard reports for the need for middle housing, but the data from the housing needs analysis seems to suggest that from 2019, one more paragraph, from 2019 to 2026, Pendleton has gained 434 of the 438 multi-unit units needed. In short, I believe that the approval of this development constitutes putting the cart before the horse. There are no plans for the primary collector road being brought up to city standards. Further, this primary collector road contains a bridge that is inadequate to accommodate increased traffic, emergency response, and is flood prone. Additionally, the subdivision plan lacks a viable option for a secondary access road, one being proposed through a floodplain and the other a perennially high traffic area also involving a flood vulnerable bridge. Keep in mind, the only two accesses to this whole area involve flood vulnerable bridges of Kirk and Quinney. Finally, it is not clear Pendleton is lacking the specific type of housing this subdivision proposes. It certainly does not warrant approving variances to increase density and disregard the scientific advice not to further develop in this special flood hazard area. Until and unless the developer can address these abilities, I am opposed to the proposed development, and I encourage all of you to please become informed about the barriers to this subdivision.
Thank you. And I broke my own rules there. So I will give grace to other people if you go a little bit over time for this. Bridget, you can come up next. Yeah, I will have my 3-minute timer go off, but if you still have something to finish, I will allow it.
Okay, I'm going to try to keep it nice and short and
You're
sweet.
good.
My name is Bridget Farley, and I live at 1542 Southwest 44th Street. Actually, on and off for the last 60 years, so I know this neighborhood pretty well. And I, just like Tracy and Chris, I want to express my concerns to the council about the proposed 36-unit development plan for above the Southwest Kirk extension in a community park. I live, as I said, on 44th Street, opposite Mackay School. From August to June, in the morning and the evening, the street is choked with vehicular traffic. The car line of parents dropping off and picking up their kids snakes down 44th Street, goes along Perkins Street, probably for half a mile. It's close to impossible to get out of your driveway at those times. And then there are the groups of school kids walking, skipping, scootering, and biking all along and in 44th Street and Perkins Street. It's a very scary mix, so I try to avoid coming out of my driveway during those times. We also have park-bound traffic on the street on 44th Street from approximately 1 p.m. to 5 or 6 from March to October. Soccer, cross-country, and softball teams and their supporters crowd in almost every night and on weekends. I shudder to think about the addition of 100 or more residents and their vehicles, since most Americans have more than one car, to an already overcrowded vehicular and pedestrian thoroughfare and neighborhood. In case of a flood or fire, the nearest exit from 44th Street, the Quinney Bridge, becomes a dangerous bottleneck and has been judged vulnerable to the next flood. But wait, there's more. As Tracy pointed out, the developer plans to link overcrowded 44th Street to a road that will obliterate part of Community Park from the parking lot to the footbridge. You all should go out and see what's being proposed here. That road will go, as other people have noted, straight through a floodplain, once again endangering the 63 houses damaged in the 2019 flood and disfiguring the jewel in Pendleton's recreational crown. That's the way I look at Community Park. I urge the council to think seriously in the coming weeks about the liabilities of this development as presently constituted. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, do we have anyone else who would like to provide public comment? Anyone online? Okay. What I will state for those that are in the audience and online is few weeks ago, we had our first appeal of a planning commission decision to come before this body of the council. We've been told that likely this will be kind of in the future for us with this project. It has to be filed and we have to then be notified and have that hearing. In that case, the council becomes an independent judicial body where we make our decisions separate of the planning commission decision. The council has the ability to either to make the same decision, to make some minor adjustments, or to not approve the project at all. But that is something that this council will have to see if it comes before us in a council meeting. So just going forward, however, so everyone understands kind of what our role is. I know that I will just say, I know that many of you all live in wards that are represented by our council members, and I will apologize on their behalf or let you know if they haven't been in communication with you about this. We're kind of in a weird spot here where we then become the judge and jury to be able to hear all the same information. So just know that they all care about your thoughts and your opinions. And I haven't talked to any of them about it, but I can imagine that they've heard from you as well. So just so you're aware, if they haven't been as robust in their response as they typically would be, that's why.
So, McKinnon, quick question on that.
Mhm.
Just in the process, where are we? So it's obviously not come to us formally yet to land on the agenda. Do we know a sense of timing?
So as far as I know, the appeal has not been filed.
Oh,
So an appeal would come to us and then I can keep you informed and when that happens and what the timing of that would be.
thank you, sir.
I have a question.
Yes.
I guess it's for Rob. So the appeal has not been filed.
Correct.
Who decides when? that
So,
will be-
so someone who has standing in the land use decision has the option to file an appeal.
So any of the folks that,
So they would have to have standing and which would mean that they would have to have been participated in the land use decision, or have, I don't know what I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to give you the definition of standing, but I can tell you that someone who lives on the North Hill, I would not be able to appeal this decision. But potentially a neighbor or someone who participated and testified against this would have standing, in my understanding of the law, and they could file an appeal of the decision to the city council.
And then we're notified and there's a period of time in which we have to hear the case. And then if the decision isn't accepted from the group, it can go beyond us to the land use board.
Yeah, as being on planning commission for 8 years and running those meetings for 2 years, I read this a million times to the public. You're exactly right, Rob. Folks who testified in opposition and went on the record, someone in that position and in the planning commission rules of conduct, it says appeal to LUBA, Land Use Board of Appeals, in this case, apparently the city council.
So I think that's the next step. If it went to the city council, then people who have standing and that were aggrieved of the decision by the city council, the next step would be to the state of Oregon. That's where they could then appeal it to the state of Oregon. That would be the process.
Okay, more to come. Okay. Do we have any other public comment before I close this down? Okay, we're gonna move, I'm gonna call the meeting to order and ask you please to join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yes, thank you for coming, and no judgments if you're leaving. Yep. Okay, we're gonna move on to the consent agenda, and I don't believe we have an executive session tonight, do we? No. Okay. So we just have the minutes from the July 21st council meeting, as well as authorization for issuing a purchase order for pool chemicals. Do we have any items that anyone would like to pull for further discussion? Okay, hearing none, do we have a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda, items A and C.
And I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved by Counselor Ennis, seconded by Counselor Thomas. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, it's unanimously approved. We're going to move on to our next item of business, which is a public hearing. And this public hearing is going to be on ordinance 4051, amending ordinance 3766, the burn ban ordinance. So I'm going to start with reading this statement. This is a public hearing having to do with a matter of general applicability in the city. We will begin with a staff report. Those in favor of the proposal will be given an opportunity to speak. When all in favor have spoken, those against the proposal will be given an opportunity. Then anyone who spoke in favor will be given an opportunity to reply to the information given by those against the proposal. After all have spoken, I will close the public hearing and the city council will discuss the proposal. Each person making a statement should step to the microphone and give their name. This meeting is being recorded. All exhibits, documents, and other materials submitted at the hearings will be made a part of the record to the proceedings and kept for the city's files until all potential appeal periods have passed. After you're done speaking, please stay at the microphone so members of the council may ask questions. The public hearing is now open, and I would ask for the staff report, please. I believe that's you. Mayor, council, good evening. To amend and update the city's air pollution ordinance, we wanted to add city burn regulations to the title and then revise the ordinance language to reflect current fire code requirements and existing enforcement practices. Adding the burn regulations to the ordinance and amending it will make it easier for community members to identify and locate regulations governing outdoor burning. The proposed amendments also modernize outdated language, improve organization and readability, and provide clearer explanations of the applicable requirements. These revisions are intended to increase consistency with current codes, reduce confusion, support effective enforcement, and help public better understand the responsibilities regarding outdoor burning. The fire department staff and the city safety compliance officer, Jake Dozier, together recommend approval for the proposed ordinance amendments. Are there any questions?
I have a question. How do you intend to distribute or disseminate this information to the public?
We will, currently we have a brochure that we can hand out, and then the update will go on our fire department webpage so that people will actually have access to it, as well as it will go on the city's website in the ordinance section.
Can I add something? In your estimation, do most people who burn things get approval prior to?
So we have a burn line that a lot of people will call the fire station and ask questions. It's also, we have a board that you can drive by the fire station and you can see if it's a burn day or a non-burn day. And there are a lot of people that will call and ask questions or actually come to the fire station and ask me if what they want to do is legal or not legal, or, you know, just can I have a fire in my backyard with my friends and family? Is that something that, you know, is okay per burn ordinance? So I feel that updating the ordinance and including some of that information in it will help them not have to come to the fire station. They'll be able to read the ordinance, see, you know, what they can do, and then hopefully it'll answer their questions ahead of time.
As a follow-up to your response, do you get quite a few people tattling?
Yes, we do get quite a few people calling us for smoke under the bridge or, you know, illegal burns. That probably isn't going to stop. This ordinance isn't going to help that. This ordinance is probably just going to help the average citizen who wants to know if they can have a warming fire with their friends in their backyard.
Thank you.
Any additional questions?
Yeah, quick one. So basically, it's going to help the people that want to follow the rules to know the rules to follow, I guess. I thought, Valerie, how you doing? I thought this was good. It cleans up, it clarifies a lot of things. I love this. Wanted to point out one quick question though. On page 19, so the first page of ordinance 4051, Under bonfire, it says a bonfire shall not be conducted within 50 feet of a structure. And then just want to clarify this, page 24, which is G, 5G. It talks about unconfined open burning piles with safely located a minimum of 25 feet from a structure. I just didn't know if we had some number transport going on there, or if those are two different type of fires and this is good.
They are actually two different type of fires, and I tried to list all of them within the beginning where it's under definitions. So basically, a bonfire is anything larger than 2 feet by or 3 feet by 2 feet.
Okay.
Not contained in a pit, and pretty much somebody chops down a tree and they throw all the branches out in a big pile that's, you know, the size of me, and they want to burn it. So that's basically considered a bonfire. And then an open, let me see what your number was, G.
Yeah.
An unconfined open burning pile. Yeah, an unconfined open burning pile of that follows the code that is 3 feet by 2 feet is just one that's not literally contained in a, you know, somebody digs a hole, that's basically a structure that it's not going to get away from.
Yeah.
But if they just put it on the ground, then, you know, it has a chance of getting away from them
Yeah.
basically. So it's just basically, I'm trying to differentiate all the different types of fires you can have and
That's
what
tough.
confined and unconfined means.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Anything else?
Any additional questions?
I was surprised to know that a burn barrel is prohibited. I've seen many burn barrels.
It actually has been prohibited in the city of Pendleton for a long time, much longer than I have been here.
Wow. Yeah. No, I too think anybody who wants to read this and understand what it is they can or cannot do, it's very concise and clear. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't hear any additional questions. Okay. Okay, now would be the time for those that are in favor of their proposal to speak from the audience. Anyone online? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to move on to those that are against the proposal as presented. Okay, I'm hearing none in person or online. So now I'm going to close the public hearing and call for council discussion or a motion.
I'll make a motion. I move to amend the, I move to amend and update the city's air pollution control ordinance by adding quote, city burn regulations, end quote, to the title and revising the ordinance language to reflect current fire code requirements and existing enforcement practices.
Second.
Okay, it's a move by Councilor Mulvihill, seconded by Councilor Hull. Any discussion?
I think it's awesome to give guidelines. One of the concerns I would have is how the information is going to be disseminated. So I'm hoping that there will be a follow-up on that.
It sounds like they have some pretty good ways to communicate. I want to give kudos to our police and fire departments. You both do a really good job of communicating out information. So I think online, they put it on the website, on their various pages, as well as they have the board. Reader board.
I would just add maybe multiple times disseminating the information. Sometimes I'm not calling out anybody, but it's read and it goes in one ear and out the other. Maybe it's because I had sons.
I'm sure they hand out a lot of pamphlets about it too.
I did find a couple of Scribner errors, which I will pass on. There, in one spot, there are two commas together, and in one spot, there are two words. One word is repeated, one right after the other. And if you haven't already found those, I'll give you my copy with those in there. But the intent certainly is, and the purpose is there.
Yeah, please hand those to Donna or I, if you have them there
I do.
before you go home today.
Okay, I will.
Rob, could you please read the ordinance?
Yeah, ordinance number 4051, an ordinance amending ordinance 3766, regulating burning for the reduction of air pollution, protecting the health of the city of Pendleton.
Hey, Donna, could you please poll the council?
McBride,
Yes.
Counselor Mulvihill,
Yes.
Yes.
Counselor Newman,
Yes.
Counselor Innes. Yes. Counselor Thomas,
Yes.
Counselor Hall.
Yes.
Okay, it's approved unanimously with the group, the counselors that are here with Counselor Schulberg excused. Our next item of business on the agenda is a bid, a remount of the ambulance and a staff report. So the fire night tonight. Got a lot of things on the agenda.
Tony Parati, Fire Chief, Pendleton Fire and Ambulance. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I forgot my sheet, so I'm going to pull up on my phone here.
You're good.
Essentially, we do have an ambulance replacement program that we've had for a long time. We basically use the public safety funds that we collect. We do alternate, so we do something every 2 years essentially to keep our oldest ambulance at 10 years and we replace it, and we're doing that today, hopefully. Our last one we bought was a new one, so this one will be a remount. And essentially what that means is we contract with a company. They take the box off of it, they buy a new truck, and we put the old box back on and kind of make everything work again. It is a cheaper option and it kind of helps us continue with the program that we have. So again, this would be replacing a 10-year-old ambulance. In this proposal, though, I do have some necessary equipment, kind of that capital program that I outlined for you folks. The vehicle is one thing, but all the stuff that goes with it to help us do our job. So I've included that in here with the caveat that this will come from the public safety fee. These bills can, at the quickest, be 4 months, and at the longest be 9 months. So that fund actually will build over time. So depending on when the build actually gets done, we would purchase what we can, which is equipment, and then otherwise just have to wait until the fund builds. But including on top of that remount, we have a cot, a power load that goes with the cot, and I can explain those if you want, a combi tool, which is used for extrication. And again, I did present these if you remember as part of our capital outlay, a stair chair, and then a cardiac monitor. So all that adds up to $300,085, $263.76 for the remount. It would be done through Braun Northwest. They are part of our Sourcewell, which is the cooperative buying that we would go through. So they've already met all the procurement needs, and that's who we've gone through for our other. Any questions for me?
And what would it be if we didn't do the remount and we bought a brand new?
The last one, it'll be more than this, but the last one we did 2 years ago, I think ended up being around 335,000 just for the ambulance.
Okay.
Yeah.
My question. So of the 385,000, how much of that is the remount?
So the remount is actually $223,000 and change. And then the rest of it, and I have some list prices here, that falls into those equipment pieces. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, so you're remounting the box and you don't anticipate costs in the future for the box, the interior of the box?
You mean future costs?
Yeah. So I just want to make sure this is a wise move, that the box is not going to become outdated.
Oh, no. In fact, they've done this for the last, well, before me. And it's a common thing. You can only remount once though. So once it gets remounted once, and that's why we have to cycle with the new and the remounted. But yeah, you're right. You can only do it once because then the box is obsolete essentially.
Thank you.
Tony, quick question. How many miles do you end up with on one of these ambulances? The truck part, the motor, the drivetrain?
It varies, but
miles.
after about 10 years, we're 250,000. It depends. And unfortunately, those are hard miles. These are diesel engines. They're kind of meant for long haul purposes, but we start them up cold. They code 3 to a call, shut them off, start them up. And so they kind of get beat up in the process of how we use them, unfortunately, but yeah.
That's a lot of miles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any additional questions for the chief? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Do we have any public comment on this agenda item? Okay. Hearing none, do we have a motion from the council?
I move to approve the request for $385,263.76 for the ambulance remount purchase and the additional equipment outlined.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Counselor Ennis, seconded by Counselor Hull. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's approved unanimously. We're going to move on to the next item of business, which is the approval of a task order for Consor for $303,041 for river crossing sewer main. Staff report, please.
Mayor, Council, Jeff Brown, Public Works Director. So yeah, we're asking for approval of a staff order to, or a task order with Consor to assess the crossings under the river of our 5 sewer mains. So we have 6, but we did one several years ago. These were all put in the 60s when they moved the wastewater plant down to where it is now. There's been no maintenance done to them. They're too big for us to clean. So part of this assessment, the Consor will have a company come in and clean them. They'll run a camera through them, assess any damages, and then we'll run a liner through them at a later date. So this will be just the assessment, the camera work, the feasibility, how they're going to do it, what they need to do. So these are old concrete lines. So if you look inside of them now, what used to be a smooth pipe is now just really rough. All the rocks are exposed inside, so stuff gets hung up in there. So we've got 2 36-inch that goes from kind of where Keystone is across the river to the plant, and an 18-inch that comes across from where McKinnon Station is across to the plant. And then by Oxford Suites, there's 3 pipes together that go down and under the river. It's called a siphon. So we've got 3 side by side there. So all 5 of those will be assessed, and then we'll come back with the actual project to slip line those. And I believe in there, that was about 750,000 to 1.4 million to line those. And that will be a fully structural pipe inside of that. And you can imagine with that pipe running under the river, if something were to happen to it, that would be a very bad day. So with this, it will be a fully structural pipe inside of that, very slick, very smooth, and easy to maintain. Be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah. What will the impact be to the community while this is being done?
None.
So the seamless as far as anybody knows.
So when they do the actual work, they'll pump around. So they'll put a stopper in the pipe on one end and a pump and a pipe across the river, and then pump it back in on the other side and work in that space during that time.
So nobody in their home is going to
Nope.
have water shut off or, okay.
Nope.
Thanks.
Okay, Counselor Hull.
Yeah, a couple of questions. As you stated, Jeff, this is for pre-design. So this is it's a health check. It's you're cameraing these.
And a cleaning,
And
which we
cleaning
are
of-
capable of doing.
Yeah, right on. So it doesn't involve any construction, any repair. This is the cleaning and the
assessment.
the triage, basically.
Yeah.
To
This
see.
was completely an assessment.
So how, it's so much, but I get it. I'm in the same industry, right? I get it. $303,000. It seems like a lot, but that's a lot of work
It's a lot of work.
and probably very expensive cameras to go that far.
Yeah.
But so how long has it been since this last happened? You talked about where inside the pipes where rocks are showing, which makes it sound like to me like it's been a while since any repair or never.
Yep.
And how old are these?
Late 60s.
Oh, so wow. So these are 75, 80-year-old pipes?
Yep.
Yeeks. And this is the
Yeah.
first run.
Yep. The siphons, there's really no way to clean them unless you have the big equipment like these big construction outfits that do this for a living. They have the stuff that, our hose on our jetter is a 3/4 inch hose at 3,000 PSI, and it works okay up to a 12-inch pipe. These 36-inch, I mean, they've got a 2-inch hose that's 5,000 PSI, and they can clean all this stuff out. And they've got cameras that are on lift kits that they can drive through these pipes. It's pretty impressive stuff, but way out of our price range for no more than we would need to use it.
So
We have to pay top dollar to get the best people here.
yeah. So if we didn't do this, that would be irresponsible if we didn't do it.
Very.
Based on the age and the use.
Yep. And this has been called out for some time, and I've got 2 other major projects done since I took over, and this is the big one.
What is that new smooth super pipe?
So it's it's like a big fiberglass sock.
Oh.
And they turn it inside out and they impregnate it full of epoxy. And then they turn it inside out, pull it through the line by pulling it inside out, and then they pump it up full of steam, really hot steam, and then it sets it. The epoxy sets at 20 minutes, and then they pull everything out, and within an hour they can turn the water back in.
Wow.
And it's, just really slick. The grease, the soap, nothing will stick to it anymore.
This 303,000 doesn't pay for any of that. It's just the assessment.
Just the assessment of
And cleaning.
how we're going to do it,
Yes.
what size. They'll do measurements, they'll do laser measurements inside the pipe as they go through. So the liner can be built absolutely perfectly. So when it goes through, it looks flawless.
Wow.
It's a really interesting process. So slip lining, if you want to Google it,
So they're not just looking at it, they're looking at it to evaluate what they have to do in order to bring it
yes.
to that high
Or-
criteria.
Are there spots that they need to? They have a grout packer that they can run through there. If say there's a hole in the pipe, a big scar in it, they can run this through there and it puts grout into it, smooths it out.
Right.
Then they can put the liner in. It's all about, how many defects? Is it completely round all the way? Where are the cracks? They'll go through, they'll completely video the inside. I'll probably bring it to you and show you highlights of it. But yeah, it's pretty amazing what they can do now.
I'd like to see that. If,
Councilor Thomas.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. But so what's the time frame of having this evaluation done and then when the new sleeve will be installed?
So the evaluation will probably be this fall.
Okay.
And then next summer, they do the lining, because having the river at the lowest level possible, when they'll build, big supports and lay a pipe across the river to pump around. So low water helps with that.
Yeah.
Okay, Councilor Mulvihill.
Jeff, what's the lifespan of the liner?
So, they say 50 years, but it's probably a lot longer than that. It's a fully structural thickness pipe. So, it's kind of like PVC pipe in town. They say, they claim it's 50 years. Well, we've got some cast iron pipes that are over 100 that are still working fine. And it's not under pressure. So there's no reason why it wouldn't outlast all of us by quite a bit. It'll surely last until I retire.
Any additional questions? Thank you. Do we have any public comment about this agenda item? Okay. Hearing none, do we have a motion
I have one more quick question.
for staff?
McKinnon, well, more for this group and maybe for City Manager Corbett.
Okay, prior
Yes.
to the motion.
Yes. This $303,000, is this something that we knew about in time to make part of the budget, or is it going to have to be found within the budget?
So what I would tell you is financially, that's not going to be an issue as far as paying for it, whether or not it was actually anticipated for when we put the budget together.
It wasn't completely spelled out, but it was in the 2.1 million, I think. It was spelled out. It was thought of.
The money was allocated.
Yeah.
That
There's
was,
plenty in there.
Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the consort task order 2025-06 in the amount not to exceed $303,041.
Second.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved by Counselor Newman, seconded by Counselor Campbell, I believe. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, it's unanimously approved. We're going to move on to our next item of business, which is the council